Hi, this video talks about why I can't survive at work or home without a task manager. For more information about this is a great book, Getting Things Done by David Allen, and most of what I do is sort of designed upon his methodology. So why do you need a task manager? Why isn't the to-do list like this enough for you to be able to get through all the things that you need to do? Well, the fact is that most of us have an overwhelming number of projects that we're responsible for, even if we don't realize it. In fact, most of us have somewhere between 30 and 100 individual projects which are ongoing at any one time. And what this ends up causing is what I call brain popcorn, where it's a type of mental stress that's caused by all these multiple different projects, all these things you need to do for them, a limited time, and you're constantly mentally juggling and searching what projects that you kind of have going and what you need to do now. And this is what ends up with those 3 a.m. waking up and what have I forgotten to do type thoughts. And missed deadlines, annoyed colleagues, and annoyed bosses. You need some way of emptying your brain, some kind of a system so it does the remembering. You'll be surprised how much better you feel about it when you get this stuff out of your brain. Your brain should be for creating, not remembering. There are good tools for that. So you need some kind of a system that you can trust, that's reliable, and gives you reminders what you need to do, when you need to do it, or even where you need to do it. Let's start by thinking about a little of the terminology. So what's the difference between a task or an action or to do all the same thing and a project? So a task is something that effectively needs a single action to complete it. So these are tasks: downloading an image, phoning the car store, emailing somebody, paying the phone bill, buying a birthday cake. And a project is something that needs more than one task to complete. These tasks may be performed in parallel or they may need to be performed sequentially. So these are projects: writing a review paper, buying a new car, developing new imaging guidelines, renovate your kitchen, organize a birthday party. All of these are projects. So what was the problem with my to-do list here? Well, while some of these really were tasks, single quick items that one could do, a bunch of the other ones are really projects. And these are going to take a very long time before they're ever going to fall off my to-do list because they all involve multiple tasks. This was really a bit of an oh duh moment for me when I realized this and I started reorganizing how I structured my tasks. And this is the key fact that projects become achievable when you break them down into separate individual tasks. So how do we manage our tasks? Well, there are some very inefficient ways, like using post-it notes. The trouble with post-it notes is they work okay for something you're doing that day if you just pin them to your computer, but they fall off, they're not attached to individual projects, there's no due dates on it, there's no priorities, and so on. And email is a terrible way of organizing your tasks unless they're just ones that you're going to do in the next day. As you can see, your inbox builds up really quickly, and once those tasks are off your single screen, they tend to get forgotten. They're also not attached to projects. They're not given due dates. Same as the problem with post-it notes. I have a whole separate talk that's on this. So there are much better ways of organizing your tasks. There are certainly paper-based methods, and if you read Dave Allen's book, he describes some of that. But in this day and age, really using a digital method with some combination of the web, a smartphone, or tablet, preferably all synchronized together, is going to be by far the most efficient. There are a whole slew of different task managers out there on the market. I'm not going to go to these in detail and compare them in this talk, but I'm just going to talk about some of the general aspects you need to look for. So here are things that you must have in an efficient task manager. You need to have the ability to be able to separate out projects and tasks and link the two together. It should be multi-platform so that you can put in and access your tasks very easily. It should be really quick and easy to do, an easy interface. And you must be able to email tasks from your email directly into the task manager. You need to have some form of reminders or notifications, email or text and so on. You need to be able to identify due dates or times, and you need to be able to apply search filters so you can find out what you need to be doing tomorrow, next week, and so on. There are some things that you may want to use, so these are available in some of the task managers, not others. Being able to work on group projects or shared projects. Perhaps the most important thing for you is it's free or cheap. Most of them are not particularly expensive. You may want to be able to apply a start date, not just a finish date. You may want to be able to apply tags or labels to be able to filter and search your task easier. And you may want to add enclosures or notes or links to these tasks. But it's important to realize that one size doesn't fit all, and it's going to really depend on what you're using your task manager for and who you're using it with as to what one's going to work for you. The one I've been using for the last few years and which has served me well is Todoist. I think it's about $30 a year. It's not outrageously expensive, and it seems to be the one that suits my purposes best. The way that I found it most efficient to separate up my task managers like this: I have project areas. Within those project areas, I have projects, and within those projects, I have tasks. And then the tasks can have a variety of different kind of things associated with them, like due dates and reminders. So these are all project areas that I am involved with, either at home or work. These top few are all radiological organizations I'm involved with to some degree. Breast imaging is my area of specialty at work, and the CDP was a conference that I was organizing at one point when I took this snapshot. Within any of these project areas, I may have a number of projects and sub-projects, and they're just basically done as subheadings. So within breast imaging, these are a list of some of the projects that I am doing within that area. And just to show you here where you may have multiple layers of projects within projects, if that works better for your organizational method. Here's an example how tasks may be defined within a specific project. So here's my project, updating a pneumonia lecture, and each of these is an individual task I need to accomplish to complete the project. By breaking it down like this, you know exactly what you need to do. And it also makes it seem much more achievable. Let's talk a minute about due dates. All task managers have some means of putting in a due date. Some of them also have the ability to put in a start date. And you can use these due dates in a couple of different ways. You can use them as they're a concrete date where it has to be done by then, or you can just put them in as a time when you might think that you might get around to doing this particular task, and if necessary, you'll bump that date forward. You can also put in recurring dates like this. Depending on the software, there are many other different associations you can put on a task, such as prioritizing it, putting alarms on it, tagging it with various different labels, sharing it between other users of the software, and adding comments and file attachments. One absolute priority to my mind is you need to be able to email tasks in from your inbox or put them straight into the task manager from your inbox, depending on the software. I have various projects set up as individual contacts in my contact list for my email, and I either forward or I copy that email to that address, and it's going to put it straight in. There are a few keys to success in using a task manager. The first is you really need to capture everything you need to do at the time that you think of it. Having a variety of different hotkeys or ways that you can add to your task manager on your devices or on your laptop helps with this. The other important thing is you need to be able to do regular review. Otherwise, this is just going to be a big dump site of tasks. These reviews may be a quick daily look at what you're supposed to be doing that day, to looking at the week ahead, or going through all of your projects and just updating things, which I usually do every few weeks. To do this, you're going to use some of the inbuilt filter functions within your software. Here, I'm just filtering on what I need to do in the next 7 days. Obviously, this is not the full list. And really start to make this task review just a habit. It's just a regular thing you do. You don't even think about it. So in summary, to effectively use a task manager, and they will seriously revolutionize your life, you need to find a system that works for you. You need to divide projects into achievable tasks, label them in some kind of a way that works for you, and get those tasks out of your email. And then review regularly. So I bet a whole bunch of you, if you've got this far into the video, are saying, I just don't have time for this. But I would say to you that you don't have time not to do this. It seriously improves your efficiency significantly. Thanks for listening.